Chapter 5 is a really sordid and seedy tale of sexual immorality. Sexual immorality, the word translated into English, comes out of the Greek word porneas, which is where we get our term for pornography from today, for obvious reasons, and we'll see more of those connections as we go through this series. But now Paul is challenging a situation in the Corinthian church. A man is sleeping with his father's wife. So let us presume now, for the sake of argument, that the father is dead. He's no longer around. And that this is the son's stepmother, the son who is now a grown man, is sleeping with his father's wife. Under Mosaic law and under Roman law, this was forbidden. Even under the Greco-Roman law, this act of incest was forbidden. It was deemed as just too vile to tolerate. And yet it seems that the Christian church at Corinth were so proud of their toleration of such sins, maybe even seeing this as a virtue. And one of the things that we have to consider when we come to chapter 5 is it must be read in parallel with chapter 6, because at the heart of this story in chapter 5, this account, and then in chapter 6 with the lawsuits among believers, this is a case with two examples that's about power. At the heart of this is about power. Only the strong can prosecute the weak, we'll see tomorrow in chapter 6. So why hasn't the church expelled this immoral brother? Why does Paul have to come in so strongly to say, hand him over to Satan that he may be taught not to blaspheme, in such a way as then, when he has been purified, he may come back in. So the punishment is always redemptive because of the gospel of Christ. And if you notice halfway through this chapter, right at the heart of it, Paul says, we want to cleanse out the old leaven that you may be a new lump as you are already unleavened. For Christ our Passover lamb has been sacrificed. At the heart of this immorality tale that Paul is disgusted that the church were blind to, that the man is too arrogant to see, is Christ sacrificed as our Passover lamb. But this man who engaged in this activity, verse 2, you are arrogant, or are you not arrogant? And verse 6, your boasting is not good. He is arrogant and boasting, which suggests what? That he's a man of power, and therefore the lower caste status of many of the other church members can't touch him. Conversely, in chapter 6, it is the powerful who can bring lawsuits to those beneath them in society. And Paul says, no, no, no. Not only must this sin be dealt with, this sexual sin, this porneas, but Paul will go on to tell them that favoritism toward the cultural elite might be expected to some degrees in the Greco-Roman society. But Paul is wanting to assure this church that the elite in that society certainly do not have an advantage in the kingdom of God.